Hello, and welcome to Accelerate You, where we hope to inspire you with low cost and often free resources to accelerate you. I'm Dr. Gina, and I'm coming to you live from North Carolina Wesleyan University campus here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. If you've been watching the show, you know today's guest is not a stranger to the studio. He's been around before, and it is Mr. Corey Speight with Pens with Personality by Pernell. We're going to talk a little bit today about your brand, and that doesn't cost a thing, the way you might market yourself. We're going to talk about the history of the lapel pen and what is that all about, bartering, and so much more. So welcome. It's so nice to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Again. Well, you got to bring the guests back. That people, they're like, who was that guy? What I want to hear about that again. Now, I think I've got it correct. When you were here last time, you told us about the history of the lapel pin.
I did.
And I think for a lot of folks, it's just an ornamentation, right? It's just something pretty you see there on the lapel, maybe above the pocket. But it actually has some history to it, a rich history. So take us back into time and tell us kind of the evolution of the lapel pin. Not the lapel pin you have today, but how did it get started 200 years ago or whenever?
Sure. Well, again, thank you so much for having me back. The history of the lapel pin is very rich in history, so to speak. So I think it predates back to the early 1800s. And actually it has military ties. So to make a long story short, if you were part of a specific regiment, you would wear a lapel pin. It wasn't a flower or anything like that, but it was something to symbolize which group you belonged to. So if I looked at you and you had on a red daisy, then I know you were part of this regiment. And if you wore a white lily, then you were part of this regiment. So it initially started out and had military ties, but over time it became a fashionable thing, and I think it was very prominent in the early 1900s, probably beginning in the 1920s, where everyone and their mom used to dress up, from the butler to the rich person to the poor person. Everyone had on a suit, everyone had on a dress. They looked immaculate. And pretty much every time you saw a gentleman or an elderly man, they had on a lapel pin, mainly which was a flower. However, with Pens with Personality by Pernell, we try to not only do the flower, but anything that will help bring out your personality, we try to put that in form of a lapel pin.
Mm-hmm. And we've got some examples of those. If you can see them on your screen, we've got butterflies and the flowers and some more little birds. I know that Valentine's you have hearts that you do, which are beautiful. So starting with the military and then branching into those decades, those golden decades when you're right, we did dress a little bit more than we do now.
Yes.
So that's the history of the lapel pin. What is Corey Speight's history with the lapel pin?
Well, my history started back in 2017, where first I was helping a friend out with her business, and she made them. And we were looking to go into business together. Things didn't pan out, and so I began making them myself. People liked them at church or wherever I went, so it was a hobby. And so then when I was laid off from my corporate job, I thought, well, what should I do? So I had this craft. I had a product that I thought I liked, and obviously I got compliments and people loved. So I thought, well, hey, let's see what we could do. So within about 2 or 3 days, I had a logo. I had a website on Etsy, and before that week was out, I had my very first customer. And my first customer will be very special to me because I believe she contacted me on a Thursday via social media. Didn't know this woman for Adam. She was all the way in Charlotte, and I live in Raleigh. And she needed a pen on Saturday. Mind you, she had just contacted me on Thursday. This is my very first customer, so I'm like, wow, what am I gonna do? I can't mail it, she's not gonna get it in time. So, and she wanted a unique customized pen. And so I was able to put my creative juices together. whipped up a pen Saturday morning. I drove to Raleigh, personally delivered it to her, and she gave me not only what it cost or what I charged her, but she gave me a very healthy tip. And I was like, wow, if this is the way I'm starting out, this is going to be great. So I will never, ever forget that. And ever since 2017, we've been rolling ever since.
Been rolling. And we're going to talk a little bit about customer service here in a bit, and packaging, and why that is so very important. You said something that a lot of people experienced during the pandemic. You exited corporate life.
Yes.
And you thought, what is it that I do? And then you said, I have this talent, I have this skill. I'm gonna see what I can do. And we're now 2023.
We are.
So that's 6 years later, and you're still making lapel pins. But let's go back to that moment. That were you just always so confident, or was there a little bit of doubt? I mean, because a lot of folks had to pivot during COVID. Right. A lot of people are still pivoting. So help us through that. Give some free advice to our audience on that reincarnation.
Well, to answer your first question, confidence is something that I've definitely been blessed with, and I don't think I have any lack of. When you go into business for yourself, I think it's safe to say there is some doubt, because you just don't know. When you're the end-all be-all like myself, when you're the CEO, the postman, the director of marketing, the janitor, everything from A to Z, it's all on you. So it's going to be because of you that you succeed, and it's also going to be because of you that you failed. So, you definitely have to believe in yourself. And when you have that supporting cast, that helps as well, but you definitely have to be that driving force. With COVID, just like with pretty much everything on God's green earth, you had to pivot because things just weren't the same. You couldn't really go anywhere or really do anything, the things that you were normally used to. So how do you maneuver and still survive? How do you maneuver and thrive, and still be successful? So social media was definitely booming before, but it really had a great impact during COVID, as well as after. As of right now, it's free. So why not utilize something where you can touch millions of people all by pushing a button? Now, of course, there's certain things that have to go into play when you post, because you definitely want it to be professional. You want it to emulate your brand, and you want it to represent you in all the right aspects. But it's really just as easy as clicking a button for thousands, millions of people to see, and if they like it, they can contact you. You do business, and if you're as fortunate as me, your customers end up becoming your family and friends.
And you also mentioned another source that's not free, but it's not really expensive, and that was Etsy. You mentioned that your first store was on Etsy.
Yes.
Etsy is very similar to eBay, if in case you don't know that. But another easy platform to sell on. It can be a variety of things, so I definitely encourage you to check out Etsy. Do you still sell on Etsy, or is it pretty much just social media now?
So, great question. Etsy was good. However, I was blessed with continuing business through the word of mouth. I was like, wow, if I'm getting all of this business through word of mouth without a specific website, let's continue and see how it is, because of course Etsy wasn't free. You had your fees, but I thought if I could capitalize on that, save a little bit, and invest or just let that be profit, why not? And since then, I haven't sold online. Eventually, I am going to have to get my own website. I believe last time I was here, we were actually working on that. But I put the brakes because, again, that is an expense. But I think overall, as I become larger, so to speak, the website is going to help and help gravitate more traffic.
So let's talk about cost, because it is expensive being a small business owner. There's a lot that you have to do, even if you have social media and it's free. You have done a terrific job at leveraging photography, some of the packaging. Talk to us about that.
Well, when you're in business by yourself, the goal should be to do business with others. At least that's what mine is. And I have so many wonderful, talented friends and associates that I know, and that appreciate what I do. I appreciate what they do. So why not work together? Why not let's win together? And I believe last time I was here, I think I said maybe I had 14 photographers in my stable that I'm blessed to use at any given time, and I think that number now is close to 20. So to be able to call on someone, or they call on me, hey Corey, let's do this. They have an idea for me, and it's not me contacting them. Let's work together. So the photography necessarily isn't free. However, if you have the right people or the right services, or if you have that right relationship or connection, you can barter services. And it works out for everyone. So with the photography, I definitely take that very serious because it's an image of the brand. It's something that's going to be timeless, that's not going to go away. The picture is always going to be there, etched forever on social media or whatever platform you have. So you definitely want it to represent you in the right light. So the photography is definitely one thing that I take serious. Also with social media, because again, it's imprinted forever and people can watch it over and over and over again. So that's pretty much what Pens with Personality is about, creating classic and timeless moments that will live on and that you will never forget that time you put on a pen, and people will never forget either.
Well, much like the history of the 200-year-old
Yes.
lapel pin, it is timeless and it is classic. You have started doing something, and I encourage everyone in our audience to go with a Pens with Personality by Pernell. Look it up, Facebook, Instagram, Google it. You've started also with some motivational quotes. It's more than just, you've always done a fantastic job with the visuals.
Right.
Now you're putting some words with those visuals. What's that all about?
Well, just like the whole purpose with Pens with Personality by Pernell is to help you look good so that you feel great. And that's just part of my personality. So being able to associate that with the brand, positivity, professionalism, that's where the words come in. Because if you're getting dressed and you pull up social media and you read something that's encouraging, inspiring, that helps you along the way, I want to be a part of that. So it's not really all about how you look. It's the words that people pour into you. And again, that's just part of my personality, part of my brand, and another way that we show the personality of Pens with Personality by Pernell.
Mm-hmm. A couple of other things that are part of your personality is the customer service, but it's also the packaging. Let's talk about the customer service first. You've talked about getting in your car and driving hours to meet someone to hand deliver an item when they needed it for a special occasion. Not everybody is able to do that,
Right.
but you do a lot of things above and beyond for your customers in terms of customer service. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the custom designs and whatnot.
Great. Well, the customer service, again, is just another extension of the brand. There's tons of great customer service out there, and not that mine is better or worse. However, I want mine to stand out for whatever reason. And the way we do that, or one way we try to do that, is our personal customer service. I don't want to be a company or entity where you just order something online, you click a button, I ship it to you, that's it. I want to develop a relationship, because again, I want your business, I want to be your friend, I want you to become part of the family. I just want you to look good so you can go throughout life, feeling great. And customer service is just one way to do it, from talking to you to see what type of pen do you want, how is your personality, are you boisterous? Are you quiet? What type of pen can we create for you that represents you? All about putting it on your lapel. So from the beginning of the creation to the pen, onto the packaging. The packaging, I want to emulate something sort of like Christmas. Mostly everyone that celebrates loves Christmas, especially if you have children opening up packaging. I remember that since I was, yay high, and I haven't grown that much since. But it's a wonderful feeling, and I want to create that type of feeling and experience every time we sell a pen, or every time someone opens up a package. So you have this, hopefully they think it's a beautiful package where they take it and it's wrapping paper or tissue paper all over it, and a wonderful aroma of smell may hit you, and then poof, there's your surprise, your pen. And even though it's my brand, it's my product, it's an extension of me that was made for it as an extension of you.
Mm-hmm. And I have an example here, and we've got a lot of stuff on the desk this morning. But I know, and full disclosure to the audience, I initially met you through social media. I was following him. I thought, who is this guy with these terrific photos? I mean, really, it was a fantastic social media campaign. But then it was so long ago, my memory's fuzzy. Did you reach out to me, or did I reach out to you? How did you finally get to Rocky Mount? I don't remember.
You reached out to me.
Okay, I reached out to you, and you came to see me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then the relationship's just been solidified since then. We've been a hot mess together. Or somebody said, not a hot mess, you're like a spicy something or other. So we're a spicy something or other.
Yeah.
But I did order a pen from him, and it is actually the lapel pen that I'm wearing right now. Once again, you can't see it because of the fall decorations. And this little pen's been all over the globe with me. It's been to Paris. It's been all over Europe. It's a great thing to take along because don't have to worry about it in my suitcase. But I got this fantastic package in the mail, and the outside was your standard brown box. But once I cut the box open, I found this little kind of Chinese fast food container. Do you remember that? And I believe it was red.
Yes.
And I thought, what in the world is this, right? So you start very carefully taking the package apart. And he's right. He has these fantastic smelling, I don't know if he sprays them or they're the tissue paper. But when we were talking about the history 200 years ago and back when we used to dress, when you would shop, it was more of an experience. You would get your dress put in tissue paper in a bag. There was a gift wrap, and we don't have those sort of things anymore. It gets thrown in a plastic bag and you throw it in the back seat of your car. So this is a real experience to me. And you've also shared with me that with a lot of this stuff, which is additional cost to you, you've bartered this as well. You've partnered with other small businesses for the containers and the tissue and whatnot. So think about that with you. Who do you know that you can barter with? So anyhow, so I've got this wonderful smell, and I'm going to go ahead and take this out because I don't know what's in it. We'll unwrap it together. And then here we go. Look, we have a beautiful pen. And that's not where he stops. He's got a beautiful pen. It's on a beautiful card with all of his information. And then on the inside, which you can't see, but I'll try to show you, he's followed it up with his logo and a sticker. So, such a different experience than just that big box retailer box or that plastic bag from the store, which you know what I'm talking about. Now, doesn't this make you want to smile and put it on? I mean, it does. It does. I mean, this is where you go, this is something special. And then you probably want to keep it on your little card so that you can keep it in your jewelry box or travel with it. So just wonderful in terms of packaging. And I just really can't stress this enough. The data tells us we're no longer interested in just being sold things. We like the experience. We like going on a little bit of a journey, especially in these very uncertain times. So although it may not seem like a whole lot, just a little bit extra that you could do for your clients would really go a long way.
Yes.
And once again, and I know that they're all not uniform. He's not going to have 500 of these boxes. You might order a lapel pen this afternoon and it'll come in a different box. It'll still be the same type with the card, with the paper, with the smell, but it might be a different container. So what's next? A website's next, but what's next?
Well, we're just seeing what different areas we can branch out into. We have been able to be blessed to be global. with customers overseas, as they say, with customers in Australia, Turkey, a few in Europe. So just, continuing on and seeing how we can, continue to flourish. So no specific plans other than the website, but, we're seeing what different resources we can tap into and more relationship building.
More relationship building, and that's really, really key in 2023. Our time is almost up, but before we go, tell the folks how they can get a hold of you.
Great. Well, my social media, as far as Instagram, you can find me at pins, P-I-N-S, with, W-I-T-H, personality. Also on TikTok, Pins with Personality. And on Facebook, it's Pins with Personality by Pernell, all spelled out like it should be, with no spaces.
Yes, very good. Yeah, and local to Eastern North Carolina, he's a certain gem. We're so proud to have him and call him one of our own. So please check him out on social media, and thank you all for tuning in today, and have a glorious day.